And good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of High Heat here, presented by Liberty Mutual. Nice to have with us as we head to late April. And it's good to have you aboard as we, a little optimism, a little momentum, a little better weather, and hopefully some baseball in the foreseeable future. Here's our good buddy Craig Counsell. He, of course, manages the Brewers. He's been cooped up for a while. He's probably itching to get back to. Greg, good to talk. How are you today, pal? Okay?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. I'm sure you've been watching a lot of old ball games, and maybe that game in '90, maybe that game in '97, 2 or 3 different times in Game 7. Have you been? What have you been up to here in these last, say, 6-7 weeks? Let me get a little feel. Go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely have watched some games that I've played in that have been on, and it's fun. Haven't seen those. My favorite game that I've watched is somebody turned me on to Game 7 of the 1960 World Series is on YouTube, and it's famous for the Mazeroski home run, but there's a home run in there. This guy named Hal Smith hit a 3-run homer earlier in the game. Well, I've never heard that name. And that is considered, I was told, the biggest hit in terms of like win probability change in the history of the World Series.
Wow, that was a huge homer in the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees tie it in the 9th, and Mazeroski hits the ball out of the ballpark. I used to know Yogi Berra well. He thought the ball was going to hit the top of the wall in left field, so he was shocked when the ball went out of the ballpark. Which is, and that World Series is interesting, Greg, because the Yankees killed them in the games that they won. They won every game 16-0, and the games they lost were like 1-1 games. It's a fascinating World Series if you look at it historically. You know that?
Yeah, that's actually could have been similar to the 2001 World Series where the Diamondbacks won all the games very easily, and then the games we lost were heartbreakers, and then Game 7 could have obviously been a heartbreaker too without some ninth inning heroics from some guys. So. Yeah, that was the most fun game that I've watched. Just, seeing Mickey Mantle and watching him conducting at bat, and Roberto Clemente conducting at bat, Casey Stengel kind of gamesmanship out on the mound. It was really fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
And, he got fired after that, as you know.
I do.
He was 70 years old, and off he went with Mr. Counsell. How about Yelich? Let's do that. Contract. I know he's happy. You're happy. I'm sure you've had a conversation. Give me a little context here about Yelich signing that long-term deal with the Brewers. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's we're lucky, and everything has worked out as well as it could have ever. His first 2 seasons have been incredible here. He loves it here. We're fortunate that we made David Stearns and ownership made a great trade to get a great person and a great player, and now he's going to be a Brewer for a long time. So it's a cool story, I think, and how it got all done and his happiness here. It's just been a perfect marriage so far.
Have you thought it's a great move, and he's, I think, the best player in the league. Have you thought about how you are going to yourself? If we have a season, we know it's going to be more of a sprint than a marathon. The spring training is going to be, somewhat condensed after a long layoff. You're going to have to handle that. A lot of things that a manager is going to have to consider if, in fact, we get going here. What's your take? Let me get a thought. Spring training, and then how a quicker season, a lot of games, double headers, not going to play 162. So that's going to be interesting, too. Give me some thoughts on that. Go ahead.
I don't think you have to take your head there, right? You have to figure out. But the problem is we don't know any of like the details of it. And I think the details of it are what's going to be important about it. But I think absolutely, look, our heads as managers and coaches go to what's going to be different. How does it, how do we manage our personnel different? But until we know exactly how it's going to work, it's hard to make concrete plans. But I think we know we're all going to have to make adjustments, and really, we hold on to kind of what's given us success in the past, and this is going to be a season where we're going to have to kind of cut ourselves off from some of those, things that we've always thought are the keys to winning, and maybe do things a little differently.
Spring training, how are we going to handle that? That's going to be, who knows how that's going to come across, but you got pitchers, you got to make sure that they can at least go a couple of innings once the season starts. You would think that they're going to condense it and, to get the games in a regular season. Spring training is going to be tricky if, in fact, we reconvene. Your thoughts there, Greg? What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen as fast as they can possibly make it, and so that's going to challenge everybody's preparedness, and it's going to be it's not going to be like a normal season, and I think we all have to recognize that, and we all will. I think we'll all be grateful to be back to playing and back to working if we can get to that point. So we all know we're going to have to make adjustments, and the players know that. I think they'll realize it, and it's going to inspire them to, at this point, if and when we can get some positive news and a good word, that they're going to get back to work hard, so that when, there is a date to play, that they can be as prepared as possible. And then I'm sure the rules will accommodate kind of taking care of people's health, which will be important.
And I don't mind if they want to do anything they want experimentation wise. Go ahead. They want to start a guy at second base in the 10th inning to move these games along. They want to play 7-inning doubleheaders. I'm okay with any of those things. This is an experimental season. Take advantage. Maybe some things will stick and you can use them down the road. So I'm okay with whatever they decide. And I'm sure you too, Greg, whatever they decide is fine by me. What's your take there?
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. This is, we're going to try things. I think we should just accept we're going to try things this year, and it's going to be different. And so we're going to find out we don't like all of them. We're going to find out some changes that are going to, we're going to introduce that, hey, this is something that sticks. We should continue doing this. And so it is the season to do it. I think we should all be in agreement on that. And I don't think that's going to be a hard thing to agree on. So I think we should look forward to those things. And we should also look forward to, that games are going to be pretty critical. There's not going to be, the pace of the season is going to be quite a bit faster. And I think it should lead to a really good intensity of play on the field.
Looking for, how about if we have no fans? That will be odd. How do you think players will adapt to empty ballparks if we in fact start that way?
It's going to be a challenge. I don't think it'll be a challenge early, but as we kind of get into the games, there's no question it's going to be a challenge. I think we somewhat underestimate the energy that fans provide in a stadium. It is so critical to what we do. And so I think it's not going to be difficult the first couple of weeks. I think as we get into a season, if you get into, knowing that your whole season will be played without fans, that's going to be a mental challenge for sure for all of us.
All right. How about you now as far as keeping in contact with your players? Have you done that? You email the 25 guys, 40 guys in the roster. I'm sure you keep them, not daily, but I'm sure you're checking in a couple times a week, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think, it's like the off season really. We know that the start is not right around the corner. So it's the off season. I think, we're in January of the off season is what we're in. And like, these guys know what they have to do. They're professional athletes. Keeping their bodies ready is what they do for a living. You trust your guys and understand that they're itching for a date, and hopefully we're getting closer to giving everybody a date.
Have you watched the whole world? Did you watch the draft out of the 55 million in the NFL? Have you been watching the Jordan documentary? How about those two things?
I watched I watched part 3 of the Jordan documentary last night, so I'm catching up on the Jordan documentary first. I didn't watch much of the NFL draft, but the Jordan, I did spend some time in Chicago during those years, kind of post college in the winters. So it's a thrill to watch that stuff for me and kind of remember those days.
Can't get enough fit now. We all want baseball. I'll find you a ball game next time we talk. Historically. That you go and read the Yogi Berra book. There's a new Yogi Berra book out, 500 pages on Yogi. You might get, there's a guy who lived in the World Series. You might find that interesting too. You know that, correct? Interesting.
He did. I don't know the number of World Series, but I told my kids, I thought it was 13 or some crazy number. And it's just, that's hard to get your head around being involved in that many World Series as a player.
Unbelievable. Good job, Craig. Good to have you with us. Stay healthy. We'll keep in touch. Appreciate you coming on here today.
All right, Chris. Thanks, man.
You got it. High Heat, of course. We will continue. We're going to see you Thursday. Don Mattingly will join us then. Presented by Liberty Mutual. Good job, Moses, Mitch Green, all the fellas. We'll see you in a couple days. Stay healthy.